Welcome, Jennifer.
Hi, Steve.
So we have about 30 minutes, huh? And what would you, I'm feeling like there's some deep breath or some pause.
I'll just be glad you weren't yet in coaching me yesterday. I'm in a better space, but I'm still I'm going to close my email real quick. There we go. And because I'm noticing us freezing a little bit. There we are. Hi. Okay. Yeah. Another big breath. Glad to be here with you.
I am glad to be here with you as well. We don't get to do this very much, do we?
Oh, no. And I could use your services today.
In what area?
Okay, the last 3 mornings I've been waking up around 4 a.m. with my head going, how am I going to fit this all in? I've got a to-do list and deadlines and urgency, and I just find myself like bouncing back and forth from, oh, this item's the most important. No, this one is. And, and then there's this, I get stuck and I can't do anything. And so I do something that sounds fun. And then I go, wow, that was an hour. I just didn't get something done. So I'm feeling lack of productivity and a lack of focus because everything seems equally important and urgent. And that makes me crazy and makes me not too happy.
And not too fun.
Probably not.
Maybe not. So what is it that you'd like for us to be intentional about exploring in the time we have today?
My natural mental tendency is to go to the list, and figure out what's most important. And I think there is something like that needs to be addressed. I'm really interested in what is behind this overwhelm when I just spent 4 weeks going with the flow and having everything work great and feeling like I could fit everything in fact, finding space, to do enjoyable things. So what's different this week? And it feels like an old pattern. So if you hear something that I'm not hearing or seeing, I'd be curious as to what might be operating. Because right now I could go to my list and I could put things in my calendar and make all my promises to myself.
And you are so excited about doing that.
What had me more excited a week ago about some of these things than now? And where I kind of go, ugh, yeah. When I'm with my clients, it all disappears. I'm present. I love it. So it's all that stuff in between the clients and the classes and the painting and the hikes, so it's that.
So exploring what's behind that, what's underneath that, or what's.
Yeah, because there's definitely resistances up right now. And yeah.
What do you believe to be true about all that stuff?
Well, the way it feels is that it's being put on me. Now, logically, I know that I don't have to take it on, right? Mm-hmm. And yet it feels like it's a lot of it has urgency that's someone else's urgency. And there are a couple things that I really am a total aligned with, things that, like graduation's coming up. I have my parts in it and there's some videos to record, and that, when I don't feel so bogged down or pressured, that those things are fun. There are some urgent requests that have to do with other circles that I'm a part of. I'm a chair of a watercolor society, and we're having a convention here in town. And my tax lady's freaking out because I haven't communicated with her for 6 weeks. And, there's just a lot that feels like it's all important. But it doesn't all feel, I'm not buying how urgent everything is, I guess. Except my well-being and peace of mind. That's really urgent.
So a tension between your well-being and peace of mind and what others are asking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for us to for you to leave here with yes.
Yeah, I want to be back in.
Gonna be?
I want to be back in the place of bigger perspective, where I get to be the boss of what I decide is urgent and what I want to be a part of. Right. The commitments many of them are already in place, and I'd like to go away just feeling back in charge of my choices. And tickled. I want to feel like I did last week. Last week when something came up, it was like so easy to just go, doesn't work. How about next week?
So back in charge of your choices with a bigger perspective that you're the boss.
Mm-hmm. I'm the boss.
Yeah. So what's the way that you want to go about exploring that, getting to that place of I'm the boss?
Well, it's like, why, I'm baffled by why I would forget that I'm the boss, for one thing. I haven't forgotten it. I mean, I know it. Why am I not experiencing it the same way I'm knowing it, and I don't know, for me, sometimes just talking through stuff can help. Just don't let me go on and on, because that.
Where's the boss live for you?
The boss live.
Oh,
where's the boss live? Well, the automatic place to answer is from the heart, because that's when I'm aligned with the heart. But there's a real strong pull in the gut too. Like the boss is the bouncer at the door going, this isn't working. So right now I'm feeling it both in my gut and my heart. Yeah.
And you've been talking from here.
Yeah. Which is fascinating, because my week last week kind of got hijacked because of technology breakdown and having to try to fix a computer and then end up replacing it and then restoring it and learning how to use it and making sure everything worked on it. But I had space for that crises to happen, and it was fine. But I think because I rescheduled a few things and they all kind of landed in the same week, it has a different flavor this week. Even though I prefer the things I'm doing this week to the technology issues, there's still a lot of paperwork and deadlines and administrative stuff that I can't see where to fit them in except in the middle of the night,
What's the boss see?
Oh, you smarty.
What was that?
It's like, I should know better than this, but my arms are crossed. I'm feeling stubborn and belligerent right now. What's the boss see? there's almost like a cosmic laughter going on, going like, really? Really? And if you don't like it, fix it. You know what's coming up right now is, if I listen to the boss, someone's going to be disappointed, and maybe someone's going to be pissed, and maybe someone's going to get their feelings hurt. I don't know, but I feel like space needs to be found. I need to find some space in the next 5 days. And I think my mind wants to make the boss seem like demanding, self-centered, petulant. I'm not getting my way. And
not exactly ally.
No, right now it's like the mind saying, you don't have time to get what you want. You need to get all this stuff done. And it's like, wait, the boss is me. The boss is me. That voice is some taskmaster, got to be everything to everybody, get it all done, do it all perfect, get it right. Yeah. And so that voice has been stronger the last 2 days than my own power.
Where was the voice when you were on vacation?
Oh, didn't exist. Except I was telling Jan.
What's that tell you?
Well, it wasn't vacation though. It was a working trip.
Okay.
And
while you were away,
while I was away, when I did the work I really wanted to do, and I said no to anything that didn't look like what I wanted to do. And it wasn't just like, let's go to the beach, because we didn't do hanging out at the beach. I painted every day. I wrote. I communicated with certain people. I posted certain things that I'm creating some things behind the scenes that'll be a part of my blog and some of the things that I'm creating. So it was a working trip for my boss. And what I did is, and I'm also really good at organizing trips and going places and creating space for experiences for people to have, and to holding the space and all those good things that I love doing in my coaching career as well. And the difference was, I don't like to make this story real, but being away and not tending to all the administrative stuff of being a part of several different organizations, I got behind. And so, but what I learned when I was away, I like it because I'm on vacation. Vacation's different. How I want to live my life. And it really showed me where some of my values and some of the things that matter the most to me need to be attended to in a more regular day-to-day way. So what it did is had me kind of just come home with my paradigm flipped and feeling like it was absolutely possible. And whatever it is I'm dreaming up, I can create. I mean, I know this conceptually, and I know it from my own experience. And yet it didn't take very long for kind of the pile up to feel like it was caving in on me and losing touch with that, whatever that glow from being 100% in my essence and true to myself and sovereign in my choices, really. And that was such a contrast to how I spend my days. I've only painted once since I've been back. And that's a part of my weekly routine. I've hiked every other day rather than every day, which is decent, you know. I get plenty of sleep, so that is in place. So a lot of things I'm still bringing forward that from that commitment, that 100% commitment to myself when I returned. And yet the writing and the creation of art and the workshops that I'd been planning got all put on hold. Yeah.
So as we do this exploration and you think back to the stepping into that bigger perspective where you're the boss, back in charge of your choices, where are we at?
You know that it's useful to distinguish the boss from the voice. That's been useful. And as far as the perspective goes, there's two sides of this. One is there are things that I do want to participate in that require that kind of administrative participation. And I get to decide when I don't want it anymore. Then I've got to be willing to not have the whole package. The other piece of it is the little bit of fear that's starting to come up that, am I really as valuable in some of the roles I'm playing when I'm not being able to be 100% true? In other words, there are things I'm having to compromise to play a part. And to play a part, you know, like even the Watercolor Society, I'm playing a part. I didn't choose to be the chairman of this, but I am on the team of 5 co-chairs. So I have a pretty big role, and we're talking hundreds of people that come to one place and a lot of moving parts. And I've been really clear from day one where I'm strong in what I love to do and where it stops. And what I'm noticing is sort of like at the school, you know, where things creep in, surprise new activities creep in that I didn't plan for. So I get myself, so I think the little fear piece that is showing up is, will I be as valued if I really am true to myself, you know? Or do I need to play by someone else's rules?
As valued, and I heard earlier fear or around disappointing others.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people are counting on me, and I had like 3 new clients that I had in, you know, this last week, and they don't know what it takes to get on my schedule. And so trying to make last minute changes and discovering it doesn't work very well. You know, it's like, these are new relationships, you know, and knowing how busy my colleagues are, I don't want things to fall on other people's shoulders because of all my perceived no's. No. So yeah, that is an old pattern of default. When stress hits in any way, I tend to lose myself in it and take care of others.
What's the desired response that will will keep you.
Well,
Keep
something
you
other than,
hugging you and holding on to you and
yeah,
not this.
that's
No.
right. Well, I need to be playful. It is who I am, not just playful, but deep and thoughtful. And that behavior, that old behavior is autopilot. That is not, it's not creative. It's not resourceful. It's not my creative approach to things. And so the desired response when things come is to get creative. Yeah. And I did that yesterday. It was kind of fun. I happened to be teaching a class and I ended up being the coach. So I'm going to put out an invitation, a request or permission to use that little 20 or 30-minute coaching segment as a recorded demo, so that I can cut another one of these time slots out of my calendar. And yet at the same time, that may or may not happen, but at least the idea popped in. It was like, that's an example of, so that was one of the things that showed up that kind of was like a flicker of, this is the kind of creative thinking that's available in the midst of doing something you love to do. And it happened in the midst of teaching and then coaching and then doing a reflection after it was over. I was still in the zone. When I'm in the zone, so I think the trick is, I know it's unrealistic to stay in the zone 100% of the time, but how do I get back there?
Who says that?
Well, I simply don't like a lot of technology, and when it happens, it does. I don't like medical issues, but when they happen, happen. So when I get caught off guard, and I have to tend to something that isn't on my favorites list, it's like, too bad, grow up, girl, and do it. But there's a way to do it that is my way.
What's the way to take the creative Jennifer way?
Mm-hmm. Like what I did when I had my appendectomy. I made friends with every single person in the hospital.
The skill, you have the skill, you have the capability. What will enable you to access that?
Yeah.
In those moments of, ew.
It always goes back to that higher viewpoint, that bigger perspective viewpoint of what is this life all about anyway, right? It's not about these details. It's not about getting bogged down, and not treating them like they're so big, holding that bigger perspective of the boss, viewing it all from a high perspective, puts everything in its place, and it's no big deal. And a month from now, I won't even remember.
I had the virtual hike to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
It's like takes that long.
Right.
And now what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why when I look at my list, I'm seeing all the weeds, all the little details down here at the bottom base of the mountain. And when I'm at the mountaintop, what stands out as this is an important direction to go right at the moment, because it serves a whole picture rather than trying to fragment myself with a bunch of different parts.
Sure. It's your way to go to the mountaintop.
Well, that's pretty easy. I have my kind of direct plug into the mountaintop. It's spiritual, and it's doesn't take but a minute, but to just put my attention there like I just did, it's like, that's knowing who's walking with me, who sees always 100%. I can lean in and have a better chance of staying there than trusting my own small self vision of things, and interpretation of things. And
what was the deep breath about, Jennifer?
it's just like, I know this stuff. It's like, so I'm being a little hard on myself, because it's like, how do I get to these moments where I forget what I know? As if it's not okay, to forget.
And what will cause you to remember?
Well, the first sign of tension, it's like, pay attention,
Where does that happen for you?
Probably my jaw. Sometimes I actually do that when I'm alone. I'll just go, and I'll look at my calendar and go, oh, what was I doing? And I have a feeling that's what wakes me up in the morning too, is something starts turning and there's this tension. And
Into the mountain.
So in the morning when that happens, if I can't turn over and go to sleep, I get up and do my meditation practice, even if it's 4:30 in the morning, and it always gets me back. But in the middle of the day, and I guess this is my learning once again, is don't book back-to-back stuff with a 1-hour lunch and call it good. That's not enough, because surprises happen. I need to have space for life,
To be the boss.
Yeah.
So the boss can be an ally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as we wind up here, what's the awareness? What's the learning?
So, I'm an independent contractor, and I am an employee in a part-time sense, and I've got a lot of things going. I thought it would be fun yesterday, and it still sounds fun, but I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to write my ideal job description that includes everything I want and what it's going to take to keep that balance and well-being and the soul being fed and all of that, me being me. And I'm not going to do that exercise with any part of me except the boss.
No.
The boss is the one, and the boss has already said yes. Your wish is my command. So you tell me what your ideal job description is, and and then I'll support you in figuring out what kind of support or resources might be called in to be creative. Yeah. So now, when will I get this exercise? Unless someone
such Saturday. An anticipatory person you are.
I can almost guarantee someone's going to reschedule. But in either case, Thursday afternoon I have open, and I'm purposely keeping it open.
Today?
Is today Thursday? No.
Okay, Thursday. I missed the Thursday.
I almost thought it was, because kind of sad when you get excited about it, going, oh man, good, it's already Thursday. It's like silliness. Okay, so because I want to be as excited about my Mondays through Thursday as I am on Fridays through Saturday.
And I almost heard you giggle right there.
I know. Right, thank you. That was helpful.
So where are we at? A bigger perspective?
Yeah.
The boss?
Yeah. I'm even a little tickled.
A little tickled.
Yeah, and I do have my work cut out for me now, because now I've committed twice, but I got to refine my commitment to only the boss gets to be a part of that exercise. So, and really be truthful about it. It might not be a quickie exercise. It might take some in-depth work. So I've got nothing planned this weekend.
And what do you want to do about remembering to go to the mountain?
Yeah. Well, do it every day. No, I was before. I live next to the butte. My big hike is straight up
You do.
every morning. And get back to the every morning thing. That's a literal way to do it. And when I know that it's not possible for one reason or another, remember that line in my essence statement, Mother Mountain of Eternal Presence. That mother
And just saying that.
is the boss and takes care of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Till next time.
Till next time. How do I get out of here?